All right, so this week's guitar lesson is just acoustic guitar and drums. And sometimes it's a lot of fun to play along with a drum track. If you've never tried it, you're gonna love doing this because it's very freeing in a way. You don't have the other instruments to hold you down. So if you're working on a part, for example, you can just keep looping that part over and over again until you're ready to move on to the next part. You're in control a lot more, I guess. Maybe that's a better way to say it, when you have a drum track like this. And it sounds better to play along with a drum track, a real nice, clean, percussive drum track like this one, as opposed to a metronome or a click track, which is so boring and robotic sounding. So anyway, we're going to talk through all of that over the course of 2 videos. So we're going to break down everything that I played. I'm going to show you note for note how to play it and explain where all the notes come from, give you some lick ideas. There's a lot of things we're going to be talking about. If you'd like to join us for the part 2 video, in this video we're going to go through the first half. If you'd like to join us for the second half, which will be the part 2 video, and download the tab PDF file, as well as the on-screen tab viewer, which has the tab and the video on the screen at the same time. You can slow it down, you can loop playback, there's no talking in it. It's a great way to learn. You can get all of those extras by going to activemelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and do a search for EP575. Okay, 12-bar blues. It's in the key of E, so this is pretty familiar territory to most of us. So our 1 chord's an E, our 4 chord's an A, our 5 chord is a B, or a B7. That's what we're going to be playing off of. Let's listen to the first part, and then we'll talk about what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the first thing I want to explain is this. This little walk up here. This is a great little major pentatonic scale lick area. And a lot of you probably know about this, but if you don't, you're going to totally love this. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take our E chord here. And look at where these 2 fingers are, my middle finger and ring finger. They're on the 2nd fret. So that's going to be our kind of anchor fret. We'll just think of it that way. So that's this fret, and then we're going to be going to the 4th fret. So the 2nd fret to the 4th fret. And just remember to connect it in your mind back to this E chord shape. That's why I'm showing you that. So the notes we're going to be playing for this little major pentatonic scale stuff would be 6th string, frets 2 and 4. 5th string, and then 4th string. So those notes are all in your major pentatonic scale. And we can also, once you come up to this 4th fret, 4th string, you can slide from there up to the 6th fret and play those 2 notes. And then you can do the same thing on the 3rd string using frets 4 and 6 up here. So you can see how symmetrical this little pattern is. Now, that doesn't seem like much yet, but when you realize all the stuff you can do, you can start getting some really cool little fills, very kind of country sounding. It also sort of sounds blues depending on how you approach it. But that's the area that we're going to be working within. And so that should be your first takeaway. If you didn't know that, you've already got something you could just sit down with a drum track and just practice playing an E chord. You can just walk right up that if you want, but just start playing along with the drum track and exploring that, seeing what kind of licks you can come up with. Okay, so the first thing we're going to learn then goes like this. So counting that out, it's like this, 1 and. So the first 1 and is a downstroke on the low E string, and then strum your E chord, 1 and. Now from there on, we're not going to really be playing the E chord. We've already established it. We just needed that establishing shot. Think of it like that, like in film. There's your establishing shot. Now from here, we're going to go slide up with a ring finger to the 4th fret, 6th string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You can see where I'm playing on the beat there with these notes. 1 and 2 and 3. Now after 3, those 3 are on the beat. It's going to go. So I did a little hammer on there. I think that's how I did it. A hammer on between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on the 5th string. And then up to the 2nd fret, 4th string. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. So if you're struggling at this point with your timing, just practice that. You could actually just get the jam track and just play along with that. Just try and get that, loop it. Now I have a slower version, so I have 2 different tempos, so you can pick a slower version if you want. If the 90 beat per minute, which is what I used in the intro, if that's too fast, just get one that's a little slower. Okay. Now after that I came up here. So this is that other little extension that I just showed you. So that's sliding up to the 6th fret on the 4th string, and then the 4th fret 3rd string, sorry. So it's like this. Now I held that out, and then after that I went. So I played that, and then a quick slide from the 6th fret to the 4th fret on that 4th string. And then down to that 2nd fret on the 4th string. So it's like this. Now watch this. That's how I get back. From that 2nd fret, 4th string, I went. So that's walking right down that major pentatonic scale little shape I showed you. So 4-2 on the 5th string, and then we're gonna come down to the 4th fret 6th string, and as soon as I play it, I slide. And that's a kind of a country lick. I love this. I use this all the time. Isn't that cool? It's got kind of a Johnny Cash kind of vibe. That kind of sound, you know, that Luther Perkins thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it just resets and we do the same thing, but this time I went. So I just changed the timing slightly there. Now every time I did it, it was a little different, but I wanted to show you this and point this out because I want you to think about what you can do, and it makes it easier with that drum track to do this. So it's like this. Down, down, up. So that little down, down, up was in there. Now you could do any variation you want there. You could go, or you could go, or you could go. There's any of them. It doesn't really matter. I'm always starting with a down, and I could just kind of work out whatever timing I want there. I could go, just hit it once. So if you're struggling with these down ups and that's too hard with your right hand, you could just do it like that. There's nothing wrong with that. And you could do any of these notes. You could double them up. So that's where it starts to get fun, and especially with a drum track, because it's holding you to the beat and you're kind of reacting to the rhythm that way. It's much more like playing with a real musician. Okay, so we have second time. So there's this little walk down. I love this. So it's all played between the 4th string and the 3rd string. And we're gonna start here where I've got my ring finger up here on the 6th fret, 4th string, and then my index finger's on the 4th fret, 3rd string. And we're gonna play down, up, down, 4, 3, 4. Those are the string numbers, 4, 3, 4. And then we're gonna slide that down 2 frets. Just remember, this is like a little harmonized third that's within the scale of this E chord. So it's like an E major scale. Then we're gonna come down to here. Those are 2 notes right out of my E chord, right? Just strings 4 and 3 out of my E chord. So we went. And I did it with these 2 fingers when I played that. And then I left my index finger on that 1st fret, 3rd string and hit that open 4th string. That gives me an E7 sound. I've got the flat 7 in there. And now I'm ready to go to my 4 chord. See how it resolves that tension? The E7 creates tension, which brings me to the 4 chord. So for those of you that are wondering, like, how would you know to do that version and play that 7 sound. I just knew where I was wanting to go. I was trying to get to the 4 chord. So anytime I'm trying to get to the 4 chord, the chord that I'm on, I just play the 7 chord. And if I'm not playing a chord, if I'm playing a lead, I just play the flat 7 note. So that's the indicator, that's the little signal that we're about to change somewhere. So if I'm doing a solo, see, I hit that flat 7, and now we resolve to the 4 chord. You hear that? So these are the things that you have to start working on with your ear and developing that sound. And you'll start to, the more of it you listen to and the more of it you play, you start to realize these patterns. They're all through music. But this flat 7 brings me to that 4 chord. Now we're to the A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we get to the A, I went like this. So that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this part's very easy rhythmically because it's kind of right on the beat. So, and it's a lot of downstrokes. So it's down for the open A, and then we're going to play the A chord. Just, strings 4, 3, and 2, or whatever you can play of it. And then, so there's my middle finger on the 3rd fret 5th string, and then 4th fret 5th string. So, and then we're going to hit that note. 2nd fret 4th string, and then I hit the 4th fret 4th string. And what I'm doing is I'm playing. So remember how I showed you off of this E chord, we've got this. Off of the A chord, we have something very similar. Look. So the same frets even, frets 2 and 4. So this fret 2 and 4 territory becomes powerful as a major pentatonic sound. So from the A chord, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, now watch this. Isn't that a cool sound? What am I doing there? So let me show you the notes first. Now I'm keeping that bar there, which is my A, so I'm keeping that down. So after I hit that, I slid my ring finger up one more, but I'm continuing to bar. Now, at this point, I'm only barring strings 1, 2, and 3, and I'm reaching up here and playing the 5th fret 4th string. And the notes I'm going to play are 4, 3, 2. And I'll repeat that, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2. So what is that sound? Well, that note is the flat 7 for A. So that would be like my A7. So this is an A7 chord. I'm just arpeggiating the chord. So just like we did with the E, we played the E, then the E7, and then we switched into the next chord. You can do that even, I know this is kind of weird, but going from the A back to the E, you can play that flat 7, which is just common in the blues, and it gets you back. In fact, you can play every one of your 3 chords in a 1, 4, 5. They can all be 7 chords, and it's going to sound good in the blues. So I hit that twice, and then I went. So I took my middle finger and just hit, I think it was like the 4th fret here on the 6th string, and just slid down. That allowed me to hit that open string. Now I can take my hand off the fretboard and play back to the same thing we started with. This time there's a variation on it. It goes. So once I came up to this area, which we've talked about before, and by the way, here's another way to think about where I'm at. My E chord up here. So E chord, E chord. This is my E shape, this is my C shape. So when I'm playing these 2 notes, it's in the C shape. A light bulb just went off for somebody. You go, oh, we're just playing E stuff. I could come up here and go even further and play E stuff up here. So I could go, right? Right? This is just out of that shape. I hope you start to see what I'm talking about here. So I hit my pinky, I brought my pinky up to the 6th fret 3rd string. did another slide with my ring finger down to the 4th fret. These slides are so critical for blues. Just, it's subtle, but that sounds so much better than that. So then I went and played that. So this is between the 4th fret and the 2nd fret on the 4th string. Then we come down to the 5th string, play 4, and down to the 2nd fret on the 5th string. That note is my B note. That's the B. Now we're at that part of the song for the B. And so what I ended up playing for the B was, let me show you what I'm doing here. So it's down, down, up, and then do a slide with my ring finger from the 4th fret up to the 6th fret on the 5th string. So everything we've done so far is on the 5th string. And then I came with my index finger to the 4th fret 4th string, and then watch this. So now I'm hitting strings 4 and 3 here. And notice I'm barring there on the 4th fret. That should be a little clue to something. And I'm doing a hammer-on between the 4th fret and the 6th fret on the 4th string, but I'm playing strings 4 and 3. So, why did I say that's a clue to something? Well, we're playing the B chord, right? Our 5 chord. Well, this is my B chord using the A shape. Here's my B chord using the G shape. There's that little triad. We talked about that in last week's lesson, which was EP574, if you want to check that out. But that's one of the triads in that. And that's a little embellishment you can play off of that triad. And this is exactly the same little area, by the way. When we were looking at the A chord and I said you've got between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret to do that major pentatonic stuff. You've got the same thing here. We've just slid everything up 2 frets. Oh, you're seeing it now, right? A chord, B chord using the A shape. So everything just shifted up. So all those licks I could do for A, I can do them up here. So are you seeing the value in that? Like, that's huge to me. When I realized that, now I can do I can start doing all this stuff for B because I'm just using this triad as my little anchor, and I've got my major pentatonic scale which runs through it, and I've got all this major pentatonic scale stuff. And so anyway, that's what I'm just pointing that out to help connect those dots for you. So, and now the song goes back to the A. And this is what I played. So I hit the open 5th string, and then, so I do a half bend on this 3rd fret 1st string, open 1st string, and then 2nd fret, 2nd string, open 2nd string. Now these notes would be like my E minor pentatonic scale, pattern 1, and then hitting one of the notes from my E major pentatonic scale. I'm going back to the key of the song. Even though we've gone to the 4 chord, and I hit just that one note, the rest of the notes I play are back in the key of the song. So I didn't really do any A stuff in my mind. I just did E stuff, E minor pentatonic, mixed with major pentatonic. And then, I love this lick. That's a slide from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And then I hit the open 1 string. Back to the 2nd fret 3rd string. And then we go open down to this note, 2nd fret 4th string. So, and then I hit the open E string down there. And then I do a classic blues turnaround, which you've got to learn if you've never learned this one. This is a great one because it's using like that E shape. Think of your E shape in first position. If you were to slide that shape up, that's where we're going, right? That's our destination. if I were to slide that up, I'm just going to get rid of my ring finger because I don't need it, but I've got my index finger on the 1st fret, 3rd string, my middle finger on that 2nd fret, 5th string. I'm going to slide those fingers up till my middle finger is now on the 5th fret. And I'm just going to play strings 5 and 3. Now the way I'm doing it is I'm picking on the 5th string and I'm plucking on the 3rd string with my ring finger. And then I just walk this down, all the way down to the E. And I do a little hammer on there. And notice I'm in position for my E chord. There's all kinds of different ways you could do it timing-wise. I think what I played was just went like that, straight down. 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. And then to my B7 chord. So it's a walk down. And then quickly I went into that B7 from here to the B7 chord. Or you could go. Sometimes you do it that way. But anyway, that's a lot of information in this part 1 video. I'm going to actually wrap this one up here, and then we'll continue with the rest of this composition in the part 2 video. If you've liked this video, leave me a like. That's always awesome. But if you really feel like expressing your gratitude or your love, leave a comment. And actually, not just the good stuff. I want to hear, like, if you've got questions or something isn't clear, feel free to ask if you've got questions about anything. I do read them all, and I try and answer pretty much all of them, as long as it's within reason. Okay, so I'll see you in part 2 where we'll go over the rest of it.